So the reason why this is even a topic for me, as I was saying to you earlier, is that being a plus size body person is that there's a lot of conversations or connotations that come with it, especially within the dating scene, right? So generally, no one wants to date someone who's just there because they are a trend. And we can't deny that what's been happening lately is that guys, or the male species, has been going for big girls because it's a trend, right? So from this came a conversation on, so if there's a guy who has a lot of big girls on his Facebook friends list, for example, for me, I said that that's already a red flag and it's a trigger, and in which a lot of other big girls have agreed to, because it sends a very creepy message, in as much as then they're not fine because that's what they prefer to have on their Facebook friends list. But then I made the point that, but you're just not gonna have just your type on social media. So I think before we even dive into everything else, I just want to find out from you if you think there is a difference between having a preference and having a fetish for a specific type of person that you meet or whatever.
Preference or fetish?
Yes.
I think the word fetish is more of like it's an extension or a deeper preference. So if you can prefer something, so I prefer fish over red meat, right?
Okay.
Or for as a species, I prefer a thin girl over a big girl, right? That's not preference. That's not going to be precisely a fetish, more than it's a fetish. Fetish is more going to be, it's more sexually enhanced.
Yes.
Right. It's a difficult question to answer because it's like, even with fetishes, they can change as time goes by. So you can like feet, and then if you don't like feet, for example, then you say, okay, cool, well, I'll substitute it for hands.
Okay, cool.
Or I'll substitute that for
No, I hear. But I think for me, the issue then comes with, as you have said, that a fetish is hyper sexualized. And when you date as a big girl, you don't want to be with people who hypersexualize literally any other girl, just in general, not even plus size women that look like you. But I think it gets worse because it's a case of why is my man looking at other people in a hypersexualized way, right? And when you're gonna have so many friends that look like me, it already sends a message of whether that's your preference or it's really a fetish. If it's a preference, great. Where's the line? But I mean, I'm not gonna know where's the line. But if I look at it from that perspective, and that's the only thing I'm able to judge the person based on. Obviously, there's gonna be the creepy side to the answer. But no, this person clearly has a fetish over big girls, and no one wants to be with a person like that.
I think again, it's like with anything. I know, I understand what you're saying, but I think with anything again, it's like you need someone to have a fetish. So as long as it's controlled. So if you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, because fetishes can be either or. A girl can have a fetish over, or preference of bigger guys, just like a bigger guy can have a preference over bigger girls. And again, even with that, there's a range of what is big. You can be 80 kgs and be big below and then small up top, or you can be 100 kgs and be big at the top and small at the bottom. Fetish is a bit more, again, like they're something that's more specific. So again, if it's, I like a girl that is big but needs to be big somewhere or somehow, because then there's a reason why I like this girl and not this one. Because we can, again, it's like you can, man, it's something that's mainly fit. I don't know why it's even a topic, you know. I don't even know why it's something that's okay.
I can tell you
why.
Because as I said earlier, it's got to do with the hypersexualized connotation to it, right? And more specifically for big girls, because the history behind dating as a big girl is that you're not seen as the one who's desirable because society had placed the specific normative yardstick of what beauty is, and you were not that, right? Now all of a sudden there's a wave of, big girls are starting to love themselves, and then it's a trend to date them. Now it's a case of, the guys just want to say, I've been with this one and this one and this one, because then in dating scenes, it's a case of big girls are ones always complaining about the fact that, well, I'm dating this guy, he says he loves me, but he doesn't show me off because you're just that guy, that's that girl who's just going to be in the bedroom with him, again, acting and emphasizing the sexual part because you're just worthy for just the sexual part of things, right? So that is why it's a topic, because then it goes back to worth as a person. Like, are you only really that much just to be a desire to someone and not something way more, Because if it's preferences, like you prefer me, then you're dating as it should. But if it's a fetish, it's like you already hypersexualize everything. So I'm only seen as a sex object.
Again, I think I don't know why it's something that's very personalized, because you can say the same with men, that if you're tall, dark and handsome, women hypersexualize.
Mm-hmm.
So is that a problem? So as much as, again, you get guys that like skinny long legs, that like model type legs, is that a problem? So the same with guys that like big girls or big boobs or pretty girls, is that a problem? So
I think then you're touching on preference.
But then even with the preference, you can be hypersexualized to that. So the reason why you like long thin legs is because it brings out a certain desire in you. Mm-hmm. There's the reason why you like tall, dark skin, bearded men is because it's a sexual enhancement. So that's what we're here for. That's what humans are made, is so that you can be attracted to someone and they can be a sexual preference, so that you can make babies and then you can procreate. That's the whole point of everything. Yeah. So again, it's like there's like a spectrum then of like, I like you, I'm attracted to you sexually, and therefore everything that I do and I see you as, I'll see it sexually. Okay. But then the problem is then, how bad can it get for someone else? Because then sometimes people are very much like, they say preferences, fetishes change. So you can like a big girl, for example, like a big chick, and then as you're with her, you like bigger girls. Yeah. So it's like, it's a fetish, but then, preference, but then it keeps going. I don't know why women or why big girls see it that way, or why some big girls see it, but I know girls that don't see it that way.
Okay, try and look at it this way, based on the example that you just made. Mm-hmm. I think you just contextualize what a preference is, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. But now, the issue again comes in with the fact that it's not just like, I'm not gonna go on my page and be like, okay, my type, as you say, it changes, right? So now if your preference changes, your fetish changes, why is there consistency of just you having big girls on your friends list? Like, what message does that send out? And I think we need to look at it on the receiver's end. If I am a big girl and a guy is approaching me and they're starting to my DMs, and I look through his friends list, I see that it's just girls that look like me, and considering the context of what I've already said about why this is even a topic, obviously that's a red flag, And like I said, I don't have tall, if my preference is tall, dark and handsome, I'm not just following tall, dark and handsome people. So there's no trigger of, ooh, this girl, like what's going on? But there is definitely a trend of guys who have big girls as just, and they call them apparently BBW lovers. People who even call themselves that is already the biggest red flag of note, because he's not you're not the only one he's DMing,
Yeah, so what's the
no one wants that. Like, no one wants to be with a person who just wants everyone. Must tally up. That's number one problem. Now, no one wants to be a person who wants people that look the same, especially if he's gonna over sexualize or hypersexualize I don't know, the scenario or the fact that he's into that, you know? And that's, I think, the main issue here is the hypersexualization that already happens when you're a big girl. But now, if...
I think, again, and I think you guys take it personally in the sense of hypersexualization happens anywhere with everyone.
Yeah.
I think it's just I think that's a zoomed in viewpoint of it. If you zoom out, there's a bunch of models that used to feel that way.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of men that feel that way. There's a bunch of different types of people that feel that way. And again, it's what I was saying to you yesterday, that everyone has a preference of something somewhere. So if you look at your Gmail account, you're not going to have people that are going to be that are going to bring out the certain sexual type, personality type of you. So you're going to have people that are going to be a bit more structured in terms of work stuff and more professional things. You go to your Facebook, you might have people that if you want to be a joker, you're going to have people that are going to be all about jokes. If you're going to go on Twitter and you say, okay, Twitter is going to be the where I'm trying to get girls as a guy, then you'll have similar girls that you like. Why would you have girls that you don't like? So again, there's guys that are BBW lovers that will have, they will have a lot of BBW girls. You have guys that are going to be white girl lovers or black girl lovers or whatever it is.
Let me tell you why it's even a problem that there's even this thing called BBW lover. It's because there is no such thing as thin girl lover. There's no such thing as white girl lover, black girl lover. It doesn't exist.
This is the thing. It's not that it doesn't exist.
Well, it's not put out there the way that they're putting this out. And
it's not named. Doesn't mean that it doesn't happen.
Okay.
So again, it's like there's no tall, dark, and handsome men lovers. But there's a lot of people that do
then
like
why is BBW lover the one that's like out there and famous? And these groups of plus size women showing support, the people that are there are men. Literally men.
I think because again, I think if you are a BBW girl, your whole world is centered around BBWs. So everything that happens that you see is gonna be BBW-ish.
Yeah.
So therefore you then think that in your world that's how things work. So again, it's like if you go and you meet a guy I know a guy that likes models. He doesn't even know that BBWs exist, but then he only knows that thin girls exist. So again, if you zoom in and you zoom in so much and all you see is what you see, you're never gonna zoom out and see everything else.
Okay.
So then you'll say that in your world that there's a lot of BBW lovers. It's true in your world until you go to someone else's world and they're like, yeah, no, I like thin girls, and then we're all about thin girls.
No, I think not. I think let's not be oblivious to the fact that BBW lover is something that probably has trended before.
I'm not saying that it's not a thing. It's again, it's like if I'm a sporty person, everything that I do that's centered around me is going to be sporty, right? So what's going to happen is I'm going to have friends that are going to play sport or going to like sport, because then if I'm going to chill with them, we need to converse like that, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm going to watch sport all the time, see sport all the time, play sport all the time. That doesn't mean that the whole world is playing sport, because there's a bunch of people that don't play sport. But because my world is centered around that, I'll then say, oh my goodness, we're such a soccer fanatic society, or we're such a sport orientated society. And it's like, no, actually what happens is in my society we're sport orientated. So if I zoom out, I'll then meet a girl that doesn't like sports and is all about YouTube channels.
Which is fine, but that's why then I am bringing this conversation into my world. I think then, yes, I hear your point, and this is very specific then to my world and experiences as a big girl, and what I and other women, I'm sure, have been receiving when it comes to preferences. This is being a fetish, you know. If you like being someone's fetish, comment down below, because I don't, quite honestly. And within that zoomed in lens, and I want you to maybe like think about what would the perception be for us, or what should it be then if there's a guy who has 1 million plus size women, and mind you, this guy is on every girl's DM. And when we talking as women or big girls, it's like, oh, he was in my DMs too. It's like, what does the guy want the girl to perceive from doing that? You know?
I think again, the way it's almost similar to like a victimization thing of like as soon as you put yourself in a specific group or a specific genre of things, then you forget that there's spectrums within that. So if you look at BBW girls, for example, it's like, when do you classify yourself as BBW? Is it when you're over 60 kgs? Is it when you're under 150? Is it when you're over 150? Is it only between 80 and 120?
Mm-hmm.
So when girls say, oh look, I'm a BBW girl, there's a lot of girls that you're like, I know a girl that's your size that doesn't classify herself that way, right? So again, I think being in these communities and trying to put yourself in a box, right? Then you think that because I talk to this girl and then I talk to her, the one thing that we have in common is our size. Therefore, he probably likes our size. And
oh no, but that's the truth.
Yeah, but look, so what happens is there's a lot more other things that are happening there at play, in the sense that sometimes you get that BBW. So let's say because you form this group, you guys post more.
Okay.
Right? So when you post more, then you get seen more. And if you get seen more, you're more likely to get responses more, as opposed to someone that doesn't post. That also might be considering himself as a BBW.
Okay.
So again, it's like if you're posting pictures and you're posting half naked. Let's take girls that are posting half naked pictures.
Mm-hmm.
They can form a group and say, "Oh my goodness, why do guys DM us all the time and like to talk to us?" And it's like, because you post half naked pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, people that post half naked pictures are more likely to be seen because you post more pictures and because they're half naked.
But then again,
So,
it's a case that if that's not your preference, why are you gonna be out in that girl's DM, whether or not she's dressed the way that you think is half naked or not? If that's not your preference, why are you there?
so also again, it's like, as a guy, right? As a guy, you know that you can talk or you want every kind of girl,
Yeah.
right? You never. That's why you as a girl, you hardly ever you always rejecting males, but a male will always go for everyone that they want, because again, you want to procreate, right? So if you're talking to a particular girl, right, you're gonna talk to every other girl that you're gonna ever try to get as well, right? So then you have a range of girls of, okay, well, I'm gonna talk to the girls that always post, right? And I'm gonna talk to the girls that always post half
But
naked.
the very consistent thing is that they all are the same size. They
Yeah,
all
but-
are big girls.
Yeah, for sure. But
You
that's what
know?
I'm saying again. It's like there's a lot more other things that are at play. That they might all be big because they're all in a community and because
Or
they're
that
all,
the guy has a fetish on them.
yeah. But even then, that's not a bad thing. So
But for
you
us,
want, like
then-
for instance, you want your boyfriend to like certain parts of you, right?
of course,
So therefore, when he likes those certain parts, it makes you feel as though you're wanted.
yes.
But then it's like, you don't want him to like it too much or not. Because what happens is, let's say a guy texts you and he's like, okay, cool, I like your busty body, right? And then you say, oh my goodness,
Is that even a thing?
yeah, well, whatever. He likes your say he likes your feet,
Yeah.
right? If you don't know him, that's creepy, right? That's what you're
Okay.
saying. Cool.
Sure.
But then when he's your boyfriend and he says that, it's not creepy.
Yeah, it's exactly the point what I'm just saying, but it's okay for your boyfriend to like you. That's preference them. Just girl.
Mhm.
It's just weird when he's gonna be liking every girl that looks like me, because
How is that weird, though?
it sends a message of it's a fetish that you're hypersexualizing every big girl. And I think it's the fact that why are you out here after every single person that just looks like me?
Because that's what people do. So it's the same. If you take girls and you look at your dating history, or you take a guy, you look at their dating history, you date similar people because that's the type of person that you want. So yeah. So if you're a guy and you're into thin girls, generally, if you look at your dating pool, you'll always be going for thin girls. They'll maybe just be changing in a little bit of a personality trait here or a little bit of a personality trait there, but that's always going to be your preference. And then the more you like it, the more you then are engaged with it. Same with girls, is that you're never going to date someone that's going to be short and ugly. That's just not your preference. And some girls might like that. Some girls like big guys. It's like, when you look at their dating range, they're dating guys that are in similar weight or similar structure or similar work or whatever it is. But then that's a preference. That's what you're always going to do. So then you get guys that are say, oh, well, I like girls that are bigger. Okay, cool. Well, you look at their dating history, you find that they're dating bigger girls. That's just the way it is. It's not, again, that's what I'm saying. When you're zoomed in, then all you're seeing is someone that's always dating big girls. But you zoom out, then you'll see that there's a lot of people that are dating big girls, and there's a lot of people that are not dating big girls. There's a lot of people dating white women. There's a lot of people that are dating black women. There's a lot of people dating women of other cultures. So it's not just this particular to one thing. Again, it's like if you zoom out, you'll see it. And it comes back to what we were talking about yesterday about the whole range of trying to. You always try to men, women structure each other, right? So the men compete to be at the top of the food chain. So do the women. So they compete themselves, also trying to be at the top of the food chain. Then the top people date each other, right? And then the men get picked by the woman, right? And then when we get picked by the woman, then we can have more chances to procreate, right? So that's why you find that there will be a specific set of men that are always reproducing, and a small percentage of men that never reproduce, because those men get picked more and these women get picked less. You guys then do the same on the other side.
I mean, that's fine. All I'm saying is, if you're my type and we dating, and then I'm going to end up being in 7 other guys' DMs that look exactly like you.
Yes.
What are you getting from that?
Nothing. That's just what the person likes.
yeah. So how do you then differentiate by, okay, now it's now a fetish?
Well, I don't know how you guys... People can differentiate it according to whatever they want. So, I'm not going to say particularly that, oh, okay, well, it's because now he has a hyper... It's like, how many pictures of feet do you have to get for someone to say to someone that it's a fetish? So, the person can ask you first time, hey, can I see a picture of your feet? Then you say, oh my gosh, I have a foot fetish. It's like, no, I just don't like ugly feet. And then it's like, oh, but then you ask, say, 5 people for pictures of your feet. They're just like, oh, okay, when it's 5, it's a foot fetish. It's like, no, I still just don't like ugly feet. And then if it's 100, then it's like, oh, but that seems extreme. But it's like, yeah, but I've met 100 people, and I don't want someone that has ugly feet. So, again, it's like, I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why this whole thing is.
No, because I explained it to you. I explained what is the context and why it's very much of an issue, especially with big girls. I think the reason why smaller girls are not having these conversations is because for the longest time, being desired for them and being the it thing has been there for the longest time. It's a problem when it's...
I think it's when you categorize people, it's very difficult to not see them as a category, because you can say now that, look, smaller girls were a preference or are a preference. It's like, then you'll meet a small girl that'll say, no, actually I'm not a preference. Models are a preference. And then even with the models, you'll be like, but not us type of models, Victoria's Secret models. Then with Victoria's Secret models, it's like, oh no, but not the Victoria's Secret models, but the international. And it's like, but you try to make one category to say, look, it was always about big girls, but then there's so many things that you can break it up in, that then you're like, oh, actually, maybe it's just that there's some men that just like particular type of woman because it's a preference. There's certain men or certain girls that like particular type of men.
Okay, so how are we as girls supposed to look at this, right? So you're saying, it's fine, it is what it is, right? So how do we then navigate and channel the fact that you guys are saying it's actually it's whatever, like it's just my preference? At which point do I then get worried that this guy's in my DMs and I find it very creepy that he's following so many other girls that look like me?
I think the first thing is that you shouldn't be oversensitive. I think you shouldn't sensitize yourself, because it's like, if you have a guy that really made you feel creepy, chances are the next guys don't have to do that much to make you feel creepy. So it's a protective mechanism of, well, I remember that I had a guy that said to me, oh, let's go out for a date. and then after that he then tried to touch me, and I felt really, really uncomfortable. Now every guy that you're gonna go out with, that's gonna take you out on a date, you're gonna immediately think, oh, it's gonna happen again, and then you're gonna sensitize yourself to that. So I think it's very important to see people as individuals more than it's like a trend, right? So it's difficult to.
That'd be great if we weren't a trend to be dated.
Yeah, but also you trend you trend yourselves.
How?
So look, no, I'm not saying big girls per se. I'm saying people in general. Put yourself in a group, and then you trend yourself. Right,
Okay.
so you become part of something. As soon as you become part of something, you then want to push it. As soon as you push it, you then trending yourself. So then when you get picked off like that, it's like, oh no, wait, why are you guys picking us off? And it's like, because you're making the loudest noise.
Mm-hmm.
So if you make loud noise, people will be sensitive to your hearing more than they will be sensitive to someone that doesn't make noise. So those people get picked off. So again, it's the same with, if you're a big girl, chances are you're going to say, go join big girls groups, right? And then it's body positivity the whole time, right? Then it's, okay, let's post pictures at the beach together, right?
Yes.
And then you post pictures at the beach together, and then you're then more likely to be posting pictures on all these social medias, right?
Yes.
More than someone that doesn't do that, right? So then men go on there and be like, oh, well, I can see it, so therefore I like it, right? It's not to say that they like it in particular because it's that, but because you see it, you like it, right? And then you go, okay, cool, let me DM this girl. Then you DM her, and then you go back off, and then you go in your timeline again, boom. Oh yeah,
Here's another one.
Exactly. But it's not the fact that it's a big girl per se. It's the fact that it's there for you to see. So if you have a trend of,
Mike, and who's the best on that? So if we weren't posting pictures, ne, why was the DM never there before I posted the picture?
again, that's what I'm saying, is that if you're making a noise, you're gonna get picked off. It's not necessarily something that has to do with your busty nature or your thin nature. It's the fact that if you're a model, you get more. If you're a model, you get more people in your DMs because you post more pictures, right? You post more pictures, therefore you're making a loudest noise, right? Same if you're a male and you're a model. If you have pretty looks and you have a nice body and your body's nice, you're gonna want to post. As soon as you post more than someone that doesn't do that. And then because of that, you get more girls that are gonna say, oh my gosh, you look nice. And then you get more likes, then you get more followers, then you get more shares, and then it keeps getting bigger. So the more you do stuff, the more you have of it. And then the less you do things, the less you have of it. That's just how it is. And I think, again, it's like you guys have zoomed in so much that all you see is people that are DMing you.
Yeah.
There's certain girls that are not big and busted or don't relate to that, and they'll say, oh, you know what, I'm thin, but I'm still getting DMs. Then it's like, how do you differentiate whether it's because they're big, or whether it's because they have nice toes, or whether it's because they're just female, or whether it's because they're white, or they're black, or they're colored? You can't.
You can, because if, like I said, if there's myself and there's other 8 girls that you can see there's bums, the consistency is the bums here, you know?
True.
Like, I can tell, girl, now we have a bum,
Yeah.
and there's one guy in our DM saying the exact same thing. You can definitely differentiate up.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just like, when does it... I mean, that's already a problem, because no one wants a guy who's out there. But I think
So
it's
don't say
more
that.
of a problem, Ima, when it's going to be hypersexualized as a fetish, because I don't want a person just to look at me as a sex object the whole time, because already big bodies are already sexualized. So why must I be entertaining people who have that creepy persona of that there's a chance that they might be going to be making people a fetish, or that they have a fetish over big girls. As a result, you know that you're even going to be more hypersexualized.
I think, again, I get what you're saying, but I think, again, it's very zoomed in. So
that's the point.
So again, it's like, this is almost touching onto the social media conversation, because you sit as a girl and then you say to yourself, you know what, I want a guy that's going to be a lawyer, or that's going to have a decent job, will be able to take care of my kids, is not going to be abusive, and will love me for me, right? Cool. And then a guy says the same thing, you know what, I want a girl that's going to be respectful, that's going to be able to take care of me and my kids and let me take care of them, whatever it is, right? Cool. Then you say, okay, well, let me go on social media. On social media, are you going to get any of that information? No. All you see is pictures, which is why Instagram is such a big thing, because paints a picture in 1,000 words. All you see is the body. You don't see the personality. You don't see if they're going to be non-abusive. You don't know if they're going to be anything. So only thing that you see is what is something that's going to be sexual. You're not going to say, oh my God, there's a book next to her, she's reading, she's probably going to be smart. You don't know that. Do you know what I mean? So you go on social media, you like what you see, and you talk, you text that person, and that's just how it is. And then through texting, you get to know them maybe later on. But because social media is made like that, you're not going to rock up and say, oh no, let's make a profile.
Okay.
But then, if you're going to look for someone that's going to be, like say, someone that's going to be a bit more professional, then you use another site, then you use a Gmail account, right? And then there you have people that are workers, right?
Okay.
So then if you want to go look for someone's their competency at work, right? Then you go there and you check out their CVs and stuff. That's what that's for. But social media, like the Twitters and stuff like that, is more for looking for someone, looking at someone and judging them based on what you see. You're not going to see all these other things. So I think if you're looking for a mate, first of all, don't do it on social media, right?
How unfortunate.
I know. But anyway, so if you're looking for a mate, don't do it on social media, because then your chances there are going to be very low, because then you first have to deal with the fact that someone is looking at you in a sexual way or in a way of just what they're seeing, and then after that they need to get to know you, and then you find out, oh, maybe I don't like this person. Okay, cool. Now you're gone. But then if you meet someone in real life that they actually get to know you first, it's a bit better.
I hear you.
But even then, they first obviously have to look at you, get attracted, and then you guys have to speak.
And then you discover that they like other girls' pictures that look like you, and they comment weird comments.
But that's the thing, you do the same thing.
That
so as the other person, you do the same thing. You go for what you like. If you like Nike, chances are you're probably not gonna buy Adidas. That's just the way it is. So do you have a fetish of a Nike?
That cannot correlate.
Of course. So again, it's like, if you have 10 sneakers of Nikes, that's a preference? But what about 1,000? Or maybe you have a fetish. It's like, no, it's just that you like Nike.
No, I hear where your point is going, but we know for a fact that has there ever been a fetish overnight? Come on, no. But if you want to make an example, let it be the most relevant. I mean, that was the third one, but no one has a fetish overnight. But some people have fetishes over abantu abakhulu, like big girls, it's a thing. Or feet. If you talk about things that are there, like that we know for a fact that people have a fetish over, then we can continue with that conversation.
Okay, so then what's a fetish? Is it something that's going to be something that you like? Or is it something that you like a lot? Or is it something that makes you sexually aroused?
I actually want to Google this, because you said it's hypersexualized valves, right? Because then I think we're able to think about whether it's really a bad thing then from that. Okay. Same fetish meaning. A form of sexual behavior, which gratification is linked to an abnormal degree of a particular object, activity, part of the body, etc.
Exactly. So do you have a fetish of a Nike? It's a hypersexuality or hypersensitivity or hyper sexual desire. Could be anything. So again, it's like, oh, you have a fetish over big girls, or well, then do I have a fetish over Nike? Or do I have a fetish over football?
Funny.
Exactly. So
no, because I ate a lot.
What's the definition?
Fetish over Nike.
Yeah, you can have a fetish over dolls.
I get, but I said what dolls. Didn't get big girls up.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is that you see it that way because you're zoomed in. But you zoom out and then you find that guys say, I have a fetish over thin girls.
Yeah.
Right? Then it's like, okay, well, I just like thin girls. It's just a preference.
Yeah. What do people say? I want to show it nice. There you go.
Yeah, so, again, it's like, you have a preference and then someone might say to you that that's a fetish, right? Because it's a sexual arousal, right? And then it's like, okay, cool. So, to what point is it then abnormal?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, because the fact that men like women, if you like a lot of women, or do you have a fetish towards women? So again, that might be abnormal. What is abnormal? To whose abnormal is it? And abnormal ranges change every single time, because the more men that the more men that get picked off by women, right? Those men have then more women, and then you find that then if at the age of between 15 and 20, guy has 10 girlfriends, then by the time he's 30, he has 50. Is that abnormal, or is that normal for that range? There's no one that's ever done these things. You can't, because you can't do them, and they fluctuate as generations go by. Back in the day, it was different.
True.
So
that's why again, the Citibana, look at it from the receiver's end. If you know as a guy, the girls are saying you have 120 out of 200 people on your friends list, which are just big girls. If they're saying that to you and they're saying it feels creepy, it looks creepy, it seems as though you could be the part of the guys that have a fetish over big girls, which is creepy just generally. And I mean, that's also a very personal decision that people can make. But do I think that's creepy, or do I not think that's creepy? But it becomes creepy because even when you look at fetishes that people have, it's a case of people always think, that, like, why, you know? So there's an element of creepiness that comes with it. But try and look at it from the angle of us as the
women.
People, that are in that group. But now, how must we receive that? Yes, you said we should stop being sensitive, which I think that's just 1% of what needs to happen. Because how is it that it's not just one big girl that's saying, man, it's not slender, like I'm getting a red flag? Why is it so many?
Again, it's like the people that are saying that, the women that are saying that, or the woman. If you want to go back to big girls, so let's take fetishes in the sense of being a fetish to big girls again, because like I said, you can have a range of fetishes. It doesn't have to be about men or people or whatever. If you want to have it again around big girls, it's like, because you group yourselves and you put yourselves in a particular set of people that are always gonna. It's like when you go on social media. I remember I asked this question once. If all big girls know each other, because it's like you click on one big girl, then there's another big girl, there's another big girl, and they all have pictures, and then this one has pictures, and then there's a whole network. So now, if that's the case, and it's so easy to just connect like that, if you like big girls, you don't have to do much. Right? Yeah.
What does that mean? In
the sense of you don't have to go look for more big girls. Just click on one big girl, another one's gonna come up. You click on the next one, click on the next one. So you have easier access to getting through to whatever you like.
Okay.
Right? So same with, say, YouTube, right? If you go on a video of football, then YouTube will recommend for you to go and look up more videos of football. So you don't have to go and look for a specific one. You just go football, you click the football, you click the football, you click the football. It keeps going.
I get you.
Right? So, yeah.
So are you then saying, Bana, again, the receivers of this, when they see this red flag, that they should...
It's a red flag.
I mean, we definitely consider it as that. Yeah, but...
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying, try and tap into our own experiences about this.
So what do you then want? Do you want a guy to go to social media, see your pictures, right? And then when they see your pictures posted on, let's say, a beach picture and you in a bikini, right? When they see that picture, you want them to comment on how nice the bikini is. But what do you want the guy to do? Because first of all, the whole point of men being on social media, looking at pictures, not just men, sorry, but mostly, we don't like aesthetics. We don't like clothing, especially female clothing and things like that, right? We're more into things, gadgets, right? And women. So when we go on social media and we see that, what do you want us to comment on? Like when you're posting a picture of, again, if you're in a bikini and you're at the beach, do you want us to comment on how beautiful the day is? Or how nice the picture was taken?
No.
So what do
you
you want
can
us to do?
compliment a person, just like how, if whether they fully dressed or not. You
Yeah.
can compliment and keep it moving. That's fine.
Okay, so we do that.
Okay.
Right? So men do that. They go on there and then we see a girl that's in a bikini and we say, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. And you find that a lot of men do that.
Yes.
Right? Cool. And then what do you want us to do after that? If you like what you see, just like a female does. If you go on and you see a guy that's gonna be at the beach or pumping weights, you're gonna say, oh my gosh, okay, nice six pack or
Okay.
nice biceps. You can,
Okay. So when basically, I see where you're going with this point, because then at the end, I'm guessing you're saying that there's no difference between a fetish and preference.
there is a difference, but I don't think the difference is something that is you can. I think it's different to different people. Again, if you're very sensitized to it, someone might. Again, it comes back to what I'm saying, that if you like 5 pictures of feet, you might say that's a fetish. Someone else might not say that.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a difference. I just don't think that. Again, if you're very sensitive to something like that, you will see it more often,
Yeah.
or you will call it out more often.
Yeah.
So you have girls that have 1,000 requests from guys.
Mm-hmm.
You have guys that have 1,000 requests from girls.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, well then, do I then say that girls have a fetish over me because I've seen 10 requests, or is it at 50, or is it at 100? When you're looking at a zoomed picture, it's very easy to find or to see what you're looking for, because
Yeah.
you narrow down everything to, okay, this is what it is, and it's like then you're leaving everything else that it could be.
I mean, it's just very convenient that a guy would just have, again, I'm going to keep on saying this, a guy would just have 80% of his friends as just one particular type.
But that's the thing. That's
wife.
not wrong. That, again, it's
Okay, so you're saying we shouldn't look at it as, oh my God, red flag.
no. I don't think so. As soon as you look at a red flag, then you don't see any other color. So if you're gonna see red flag every single time, then you become desensitized to blue. You become desensitized to a white flag. You don't see it. You always see red, and that's what happens. That's how you then get tunnel vision. That's how you zoomed in so much that all you see is something that's sensitive.
Because that's your own experience of something.
Yeah,
and
but I'm
it's
not
what
saying
you living.
Yeah,
You know,
for
right?
sure. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is you need to be aware of when you are like that. It's
And also aware of the fact that when there's a pattern of things like that, nah?
But if you're looking for that pattern, you will find it. You will find a pattern in everything. So again, that's what I'm saying. If you look at the guys that you have gone for or your friends go for, they're specific type of guys.
No, actually.
Well, they are. If you're looking for a specific thing, the fact that, look, it doesn't even have to be weight. It can be anything. So you find that your friends are, take one friend and you say to them, okay, look at your past 5 boyfriends. They might be fluctuating in height, but then you find that they're all working. Is that a preference? They might not all be working and they might not be fluctuating in height, but you find that they're maybe the same skin color. Is that a preference? So there's so many things that you can range and look at that one particular person likes, and then that's just how it is. That's just, again, it becomes a prejudice, or it becomes a preference, or it can become a fetish. But I don't think it's something, if you're looking for something particular, you'll always find it. So again, if you look at, because after this, what's going to happen is, oh, this guy only likes big girls, right? And then you say, well, then another person comes through and looks at it and he's like, no, I think his fetish is more black girls. And you're like, well, why do you say that? It's like, yeah, because if you look at all the girls, I didn't look at their sizes, I just looked at their color. Then it's like, oh, that's actually true. But then you found what you looked for. So if whatever you're looking for, you will find it. Someone else might say, actually, you know what? I think his preference is actually the fact that he has girls that are all under 175. It's like, oh, cool. Well, then, yeah, that's true. So there's so many things that it could be, but if you're looking for one particular thing, you will then find it. It's not to say that it can't be a fetish or it can't be wrong, but what I'm saying is that if it's sensitized, then you will always see it that way.
So we shouldn't take any sensitive vibes from guys who have a fetish of big girls.
I don't think you should. I think you should, but what I'm saying is be aware of what's going on. So Of course, you need to be, because you need to protect yourself. You don't know what's going on, for sure. But at the same time, if you do that too much, you're never gonna get anyone. You're never gonna be with anyone, because then everyone that's gonna talk to you, you think, cool, creep. Then it's like, okay, cool. Then you get to 30, you get to 40, and you ask yourself, well, why don't I have a boyfriend, or why don't I have a husband? It's because everyone that you looked at, you thought they were a creep.
Hey! Could I rather that than having a creep?
Well, then that's perfect. So if that's what you want to look for, and that's what that you're good at, or not good at, if that's what you want, you prefer as well, then cool. Then be single at 40. So.
Could I be single at 40?
Yeah, but I mean, if that's what you're looking for, then do that. But what I'm saying is, again, if you're too sensitized, it's the same. It's a theme. It's like. If you only have a preference over Latino girls, it's like, cool, well then every girl that doesn't text you that is not Latino, that's a potential for a girlfriend or a wife or whatever that you could have had, but because you only want Latino, you shutting off everyone else. And then in the future, if every Latino girl doesn't want to be your girlfriend or your wife, when you're sitting at 40 and you're thinking, why don't girls like me? It's like, because you only went for a particular type of girls. And you only saw that and you only looked for that. So therefore, when you look for it, you could have found it and you couldn't have found it, but now you didn't find it.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's the same with when girls say like, why can't I find a boyfriend? And type and it's like, you have 1,000 text messages from guys that you've left, right? And then you want to come up, then you come and you say, oh, why haven't I gotten a boyfriend? It's like, because you got sensitized to the point where every person that came for you was a threat, was a problem.
It's just not your
not your type, exactly. So again, you have your own preferences.
Or that they're following 100 big girls.
Well, then your preference is people that don't follow 100 big girls. And then those people, you find that then you hardly get any of them, because those ones that don't follow the big girls are not going to text you because you're a big girl. Yeah, so the people that you're looking for, right, they're not looking for you. But the people that are looking for you, you don't want.
Okay.
So you find that then if a guy has 100 big girls that he's following, right, you're not going to like him. Cool. Then who are you going to like?
Not that I don't like him. If anything, I might like him, but I'm just like, am I not allowed to see that as a, yo, I'm a low? Why out here?
Fine, I understand that. Cool. So then you say that, okay, well, if he has more than 100 big girls, it's like, oh, no, it's a turn off, right? Cool. The guy that doesn't text you, he doesn't like big girls. And you just so happen to be a big girl. So therefore, he's not going to text you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No.
So, the people that you're looking for are not looking for you. Because the people that are looking for you, you don't like them because they're only looking for you.
Oh, so I should be okay. Oh, no, I see where you're going with this now. You're basically saying, but that follow these 100 girls is because they're looking for me.
Yes.
So I should.
But then the thing is, you don't like that. So you don't like it when they look for you, right? So then you say...
No, I don't. I like it when they look for me.
Yeah.
But...
then they have all of these other things that you don't like.
That are going to make me think, hey, this one.
Yep. So then, though, you're more likely then to find that in those group of people, there's a very select few people that you will pick. Because all the guys that like a lot of the big girls, right, you don't like. And then some of them you don't know where they are. Or you have to really find them. So then the group that you should be looking for are the ones that are not looking for you. The ones that don't like big girls. But then those ones, again, they don't want you because they don't like big girls, which is why they don't text you.
No, actually, you're just narrowing it down to that. I feel like there are men who do like big girls, but they're not necessarily the type who's going to go and follow every big girl.
Okay.
So it's not, there isn't an or situation, either or situation here.
Okay.
That there's ones who want and there's ones who don't.
Yeah.
There is an alternative that there are two guys who both want me, who both like me, whether it's because I'm a big girl or my preference is, okay, I wanted to have big boobs, blah, 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 right? The other alternative is that, okay, the same preference, but he's just wanting just that for every single girl that he's looking at. And he's being intentional about getting at every single girl. I think the issue is that, is like, one, no one wants a person who's going to be out here wanting everyone. And it doesn't have to be specific about just the body type or the preference. It's just that the fact that you have a fetish over big girls makes you go out there and look for them, or even if that you're not looking for them, as you have said, that they're in your face, but you still DM them. That's the issue, is that that everybody must experience.
Okay, so yeah, that again goes into a different type of conversation. So this is where humans get complicated a lot, right? Is that you don't want someone that's not wanted.
I mean, that
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, I'm saying that's what people do. You don't want someone that's not wanted because that's a red flag. But then you don't want someone that's wanted too much because then that's a red flag. You want someone that's supposedly wanted, and chances are if you're wanted a little bit, you're going to be wanted a lot by someone else. So you find that that's why we rank order each other. That's why a lot of the men get a lot of the girls, and then a lot of the guys that don't get girls get none. Because the guys that get the girls get wanted by the girls more. So if you have a girlfriend, you're more attracted to other girls all of a sudden. But now because you're more attracted to other girls all of a sudden, you have a higher chance to get those girls. Then when you get the one girl, you're more likely to get another girl and get another girl. And it keeps going. But then if you're not wanted, then you're not likely to get any girl. Right? So even getting one girl is a problem. Right? But then the guys that get one girl, they can get 10 or 50. Right? But then it's like, well, then the girls don't want the guys that don't get the girls, because then that's a red flag. But then they want the guy that just has a girl or has two girls, right? That's why a guy is more attractive to a chick when you have a boyfriend, right? Because you don't want someone that's not wanted, right? But you want someone that is wanted. But that person that is wanted, chances are they're going to be wanted by everyone else. So then it's like, well, even if you get him at number 5, he's probably going to go to 10, 50. So then when is it a problem? So that's why then girls say, no, I want you to be my last, because they don't want you to get more. But what are the chances of that? They're very slim, because the fact that you wanted him to be his last, the same theme that he got you from, he's going to use that to get other girls, or other girls are going to use that to get him. And that's how heartbreak works.
You know what?
Yeah.
You always do this. You literally always do this.
That's
I
how
think
heartbreak works.
it just comes down to when as a person, like, what are you okay with? Like I said, when I had a conversation with my friend the other day, she didn't have a problem with the fact that she could accept any DM from any type of person, even if they have 100 other big girls. And based, like I said, from my experience in guys who've done that, it's been creepy, you know. So then I'm able to say, actually, nah, B, you're a red flag because you want to be creepy, because you hypersexualize women like me, because I don't want that in a partner, or just surrounded by people who will do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
like I'm saying, it's okay if he has a preference, because the preference doesn't say that, man, he's gonna meet Zikon and I'm Slanje. Zikon looks like me, but it's a preference. Yeah, born, I see you, but sure. The fetish is, I want to try that. I want to try that. Okay, this one has smaller boobs, but she has an ass. Okay, I want that, but the theme there is big girl. You want? So then
If
that
you see
becomes
it
a
that
problem.
way.
That becomes a problem. That's what I'm saying. But
yeah, so if you're
as
looking
a
for the theme
person,
as a big girl, then you will always see big girl.
no, I'm
Because
saying
then-
if there's a fetish over big girl, which is there, that's the problem. Because you are looking at everyone sexually, and no one wants to be with a person who does that.
No, say that. Don't say that's not the case. The fact that
So are you saying that people who are okay with being with people who probably have a fetish of a specific person that looks
Sure.
like them, but
Definitely.
man,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's where humans get complicated, because this is how you get. For instance, so you get you get a lot of girls that they don't like to be in relationships, right? And then they're all about being with different men, right? And when I say different men, I mean different names, but same range of things. So maybe all tall men or all strong men, whatever it is, right? So what then happens is that they then have a fetish over that, right? And the only reason why they have a fetish over it, and they still have a fetish over it, is because there's people that accept that. So guys only send messages to girls because there's a certain number of girls that accept that.
How do you know they accepted?
Because they wouldn't do it.
No, listen. How do you know that let's say I'm just posting my pictures out.
No,
what I'm living my best life, kumnandi. And then obviously as you have put it is that okay, it's easy to see you guys, okay, ningene in the DMs, kumnandi sharp. But it's not saying bana I invited you or that it's a case of I'm ready to receive your DM.
So look, let me give you a different example. You know guys that go on and they send dick pics?
Yes.
Right? Why do they do that? It's because there are girls that actually respond positively to that.
Okay.
Otherwise, they wouldn't do that.
Oh.
Because if you did it 100 times and you get rejected, you would stop doing it and you'd do something else.
No, not men. Not
no,
men.
but anyone. So if you're looking for a job, right, you go and you apply 100 times. You only need one person to accept your job offer, and then you say, okay, cool, I'm gonna do it again 100 times. Because every once in 100, I'll get what I want, and that's why guys do that. So then guys say, you know what? Out of all these chicks, I'm gonna DM all of them, right? DM all of them. DM all of them the same thing. One of them just needs to respond positively, and that's it. And that's what people do. So you go and you hook up with someone as a girl. If they don't like you, say, okay, cool, I'm gonna go to someone else. So I'm going to go to someone that's going to accept my fetish. I'll try everyone, but then if I'm going to have someone that likes my fetish, cool, I'll stick with that.
I get girls. You accept what you accept.
Yeah, but it's the same with guys over chicks.
Yeah?
Yeah, so girls can say, for instance, you know what, I just want to chill with you and smash. Right? And then there'll be a bunch of guys that say, no, I don't want that, I want a relationship. Then what are the girls going to say? Well, I don't want a relationship. Move on. You go to the next guy. Hey, can I just smash? Nah, I'm not that type of person. Then out of 10 guys, you have one guy that says yes. And you say, cool, I've been looking for you. And then you do what you do. Then you start again. So the only reason you do it is because there's someone out there that's going to accept it and has accepted it. And chances are will keep accepting it. And then you just keep doing what you're doing. So it's the same with social media. Is that you go on, you like something. You go on and you say, I like thin girls. And you text thin girls. Most of them might not accept you because they don't maybe not like you, or maybe they don't, whatever preference that they have. Then you say, okay, cool, well, this one I'll try and move on. Go to the next person. You keep doing that, until one person says, you know what, I actually like you. And then you go, cool, perfect. And also on social media, it's harder to be rejected. That's why it's easier for guys to do that on social media. Same with females. It's easy. No one wants to be rejected, but if you go online and I send someone a text and then they don't respond, cool, it's not a rejection. I'll move on, I'll send a text to someone else. Simple as that. But then if it's a face-to-face thing, it's a bit more difficult.
Yeah.
So, again, I don't think that there's like a new surge of men liking big girls. I think there's just been a surge. There's always been that. There's always been men that have liked every type of girl. And there's been a group of men that like big girls. There's been a group of men that like tall girls. There's been a group of men that like small girls. But depending on whatever group that you're in, you'll see that. Because you're one of the people that have been preferred or fetished.
Yes.
Yeah, so therefore you'll see that. But there's a bunch of girls that say, oh my gosh, why do guys like small girls? But if you're a small girl, that's what you're going to be sensitized to. Again, if you zoom out, all you'll see is, man, it's just a bunch of women and men that just want each other.
So you're saying we shouldn't come with the mindset of, oh, it's a red flag and try to change it.
Depends what you want. So if you want a long-term mate, try not to put any red flag for anything. Watch someone for who they are. If you're not looking for a mate and you're looking for someone to just have a fling with, then you can set your preferences. But then again, your preferences are going to be very sensitive, and you know that you might even pick off people that you think like big girls but don't. But because you're looking for that, you're going to be specific towards it. It's like, but then it's a defense mechanism. It's like if you're walking down the street and you see 10 men, you can either think, oh cool, they're either going to be from the church, or they're either going to be gangsters, or they're either going to rape you. Then it's like, well, depends what you're thinking. And if you're thinking they're going to rape you, then whatever you're going to think.
Also, it's trend. If you want to come with that lens, it's trend that, I mean, men are rapists. So, as a person, as a woman, you want to put yourself in situations where you've seen that there's a pattern that if in the Lapa area, I know, but there's high possibilities of this happening. In the same context, if you're going to land on someone's page that follows so many people that look like you, it's the case is that
yeah, so again,
it's like there's a trend.
So you need to watch it so that it doesn't get out of control. But at the same time, you need to understand that maybe sometimes not out of control, but then you've been watching it so much that you think it is. So again, it's like you can see 10 men and say, oh, you know what, men have been rapists, so they're probably rapists.
Other people here.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, so if you're gonna see 10 men all the time and think that they're gonna be rapey, then that's what you're gonna see. But they might not be rapey.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the next 10 are gonna be non-rapey people.
And that's my chat. It's like, how do you then, as this person, look at that lens, especially because, I mean, it's not something that's very common. Yeah, we are now seeing it, and we're seeing that there's been a low-key pattern of these type of men do this, and we don't really like it, you know. Now it's like, how do you then just take yourself out of that and be like, Yazini, there's a possibility that it may not happen that way. Why must we not say izawuyenzeka? Because the little that we've experienced from men who do this have done that. It's like when Tibana Nomtu and you've heard that they cheat, ne? And you think, let me, you know, I think for most parts, people are going to be like, that's hot water, don't do that. And there's something in you that's going to be like, actually, yeah, let me not. But with this, it's a case of, like, at which point are you really like, oh, okay, yeah, I follow so many girls, but I don't really know what it is about. Must I go in, must I not? It's like, what's the advice to that? It's like, now like, maybe you like the guy, but he definitely has a million other. It's already a problem that your boyfriend, I promise you this is a fact, it's already like a problem that your boyfriend will follow just girls. Girls don't like that. Why do you have so many girls, right?
Exactly.
Now you're asking, these girls look like me. So it's a case of, I know my boyfriend likes this about me. Now, I'm seeing other people, so what are you advising?
Because you're looking for it. So
it's there.
I think that's right. Yeah, it's there because you're looking for it. So again, you could say that, oh, okay, well, he's looking. He looks for big girls with big bums, girls with big boobs, black girls, same height, whatever, right? And it's like, okay, cool, yeah, maybe that's his preference, which is why he got to you. But that's how he liked you, and you did the same with him.
But I don't have a million other guys on my friend list that look like him.
But how do you know? That depends what he's gonna say. So if he's gonna say, well, the fact that there are guys and that they're working is enough for me, then you find that, oh, actually,
no, because that's where the fetish comes in, because it's preference, it's fetish, right? If it's preference, oh, okay, they don't really look like me. The factor that differentiates the two is the fact that one is sexualized and
everything's gonna be sexualized.
How? When we speak about preference, I want a person that works. How is that going to be sexualized?
So again, when men pick women, when men want to be picked by women and women want to be picked by men, the whole backdrop is the fact that you want to procreate. So even the reason that you pick someone that's going to be a worker has a sexual or reproductive connotation to it, because in your mind you're thinking, well, I want this to happen so that then our kids can then grow up in this sort of way. So it might not be a sexual, like, oh, I want to tie this person up, but it's a thing of, it's the whole point of it is so we can procreate. That's why we're attracted to women that have wider hips, because subconsciously they can bear a child. So therefore, I want to be with a girl that's like this. That's why, same with the period, same with hormonal things. It's like, well, we want a woman that's... Same with women, that you pick men that are going to be big and strong so that they can protect you and your young.
Okay, cool.
So, it's everything is sexualized in that sense. And again, I think going back to what you were saying, is how you're not going to see sensitivity. It's difficult, but you just have to see people as individuals. Because if you're going to say what you're saying, we can break it up into many different contexts. You can say, well, you know what, if Jonathan and Connor are two white guys, and I know that I've seen white guys that are very racist, Jonathan and Connor are probably going to be racist. That's not going to work out for you. Because every single white guy that you see is going to be racist. But
you're not just basing it on they look.
Yeah, but
there's evidence in that. Now, when's Alendo?
No, but look, so again, it's like, if you look for that evidence, you'll find it. So if you find
it's there.
no,
Like
but
if
look,
I was
I'm
100
not saying
years
I'm
old,
not,
it's
yeah,
there.
I'm not saying that it's not there.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, whatever you look for, you will find it. So if Jonathan and Connor don't only have white friends, then you're gonna say, oh, you know what? There's the evidence. Only white friends don't like black guys, or don't have black guys, therefore racist. You look for that, cool, you might find it.
Mm-hmm.
But what you didn't do is to go and actually give that person a chance to understand if they're racist towards you or not.
Okay, so all in all, give the guys who give you red flags a chance and see them as individuals, because you don't know. So what if he follows 100 big girls because it is what he likes, basically. That's what I'm getting from this.
I'm not saying, I think I'm not saying that don't be sensitive towards it, but watch your sensitivity, because it can spiral out of control to the point where you don't know if someone is coming at you genuinely or not, because you're so sensitive to it. It's like if you're angry, you have to be angry for something at some point, but then if you're overly angry, it then comes across as, well, everything that you see and look at, then you become overly sensitive to it. Then you program your mind and your body to actually be so sensitive to it that even if someone says to you, hey, how you doing, can I give you a hug? No, leave me alone. It's like, yeah, well, how's that going to work out? And that's it.
Well, thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Imagine on my life.